You said you were like, oh, like business owners need to be good listeners. And I was like, you are a very good listener.
You know, when you're answering the questions, there's so many other things. Asking questions, being curious. So many people want to offer advice, and you're afraid to ask out of fear of looking stupid or being a pain in the butt. You can feel people out and see who'd like to help you and who doesn't.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, I need to get this on the recording too. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Customer Engagement Lab. Today I am joined by Veronica Swiatek, who is the owner and founder of Massage Studio, my favorite place to go relax on a self-care day. I am so stoked to be interviewing her. We talk all about how running a multi-location brick-and-mortar business and being successful at it isn't as easy as it looks, but she crushes it. So you're going to learn a lot about how to start a business and open multiple locations from it. We also play a fun game, as always, of Are You In or Are You Out at the very end. So stick around to find out Veronica's take on what is better, a massage or a facial. Hope you enjoy. All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Customer Engagement Lab. We are continuing our entrepreneurial and small business series with an amazing businesswoman who I am so pumped to introduce. She hustled her way working in restaurants to pay for her education. She started a career in media sales. She now owns and invests in several businesses, including 10 specialty retail stores at Tampa International Airport. But perhaps she's best known, at least to me, for founding Massage Studio, which blends her passions for art, science, psychology, and hospitality. It's Veronica Swiatek. Welcome to the show, Veronica. It is a pleasure to have you.
Well, thank you, Travis, and thank you for being a guest at Massage Studio.
Yes, I have been a patron. We will get into how I first started going there years ago. But before we get started, I have a clip to show you. I found a TikTok of you giving people advice on how to be a successful business person. And I know it might be a little controversial, but Sean, we're ready to roll the clip. Let's go ahead and watch this TikTok.
I have the best advice for women in business. Get your fucking ass up and work. It seems like nobody wants to work these days.
That's so true.
You have to surround yourself with people that want to work. Have a good work environment where everyone loves what they do because you have one life. No toxic work environments, and show up and do the work. It's not easy. When you do product shots, when you do post things that are work-related posts, it's still a job and it's still really hard. If you put in the work, you will see results.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I think that's good there. Well, Veronica, some tough advice you're giving there. I'm totally kidding. Obviously, this is a really controversial TikTok that people are using all over the world right now. Kim Kardashian, born into money. How she got some of her money is also questionable, and her advice is kind of ridiculous in a sense. But what do you think about this? Is there anywhere where maybe you agree or disagree on just what she's saying here?
Well, I think ultimately she's got some good basic points.
Yeah.
It's her delivery.
Yeah.
But if she wasn't controversial, she wouldn't have the ratings or it wouldn't be trending like it is.
That's true.
So I think she's a little black and white.
Yeah.
It's not all or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
We're here. We're working.
Yeah.
So it's not a general statement of nobody wants to work. There are some people that don't want to work.
Yeah.
And you do have to get up hard and work every day.
Yeah.
But her delivery is definitely Kim Kardashian style.
Well said, actually. I hadn't thought about that. Like, it's Kim Kardashian. Of course, she's going to say something that's occasionally controversial. I mean, that's how you become one of the most popular people in the entire world.
Plus, her outfits do matter as well. When you're talking about business and owning businesses, I don't know if I'd be interviewed in that outfit.
Yeah, not unless you're Kim K, I guess. The one and only. All right, so I want to get into your business, your lessons, and all of the wonderful advice you have. We recently had a talk on the show with Katie Kopstad, who runs a very successful e-commerce company. I was telling you about it before. Drink Katie's. We thought we would talk now with someone who has found a lot of success in brick and mortar, as opposed to just e-commerce only. Let's start with, if you don't mind, how you first got started. Where did the idea come from, and how did this all come to life?
Well, I think I've always been an entrepreneur. Always with the lemonade stands, always doing fundraisers around the neighborhoods. I worked my way through college, bartending and waiting tables. I was on the border of Canada and Niagara Falls, U.S., so I saved all my loonies and toonies, and I actually asked my boss if I can invest in the company. And
What are loonies and toonies? I'm born and raised in Miami.
so in Canada, there's coins for dollar bills,
Okay.
and that's a loonie. And then a toonie is bigger, so that's gold and silver,
Okay.
and that's a $2 bill. So when you think back to the days of people paying cash for drinks and going out to the bar, no one wanted to keep change because it was super heavy in their pocket. So the Americans might leave 50 cents, 75 cents, but if you gave a loonie and a toonie, that was $3.
Dang.
And we took Canadian money at par, so it was the same value. So I had a big jar, and I just saved all of those. And
I
you
love
know,
that.
I was brave enough to take the risk and say, hey, can I go ahead and invest?
Yeah.
So I think that was the beginning of my entrepreneurial career.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always been a big fan of massage. The first time I had a massage, I was 20. I was in Cancun, and I actually said, wow, that felt so good. Do you have time to do another hour?
Wow.
Plus, I was in a car accident, and I used to travel a lot, running through airports with my computer bag and stress. I work on the computer a lot, so all the stress accumulates in my neck and my shoulders. So I am a big believer in massage because of my experience.
I'm over here trying to correct my posture.
Right?
I was like watching a podcast earlier. I was like, oh, I'm over here like this. So that totally relates to me. And also, back to the Canadian thing, all my Canadian friends are going to be like, how do you not know what she was talking about? So thanks for clarifying. So you decided St. Pete, Florida. Were you living here already? You just were like, I need to open up a massage studio here? Or how did that work out?
Well, I went to University of Buffalo,
Okay.
and I need sunshine. Buffalo, I love the people. It's a great place to be from. So I was like, where do I move to? And the company I worked for, Rainbow Hospitality, they were opening up locations in Tampa. So I said, why not? Nothing's holding me back, so I graduated and moved to Tampa. I have had a lot of experience in media and then in restaurant business. And I think what happened was I was sitting down in Key West, and I was doing my goals over New Year's. And one of my goals from previous years was to start my own business. The stars just aligned, and that year, in 2007, I opened up Massage Studio.
Right on. And we'll get into later. I've also read some stuff where you've been interviewed about small business loans. So we'll dive into that. I do briefly need to tell you my experience of like how I first got introduced. Similar story to you. I had my first massage and was like, oh, you can do a 90-minute massage? Like, count me in. Like, this is amazing. And I went to a Massage Envy, and I didn't have a great experience. And I also was pushed so hard to buy into their like membership subscription plan, and nobody really likes that much confrontation. It was just to the point where I was like, I said no, and they were like, well, why not? And you're just like, okay, like I don't think I want to come back here anymore. And so I started looking just on Google searches for massage near me, and I found your website. It was super easy to navigate. I was able to book everything online, and just, the user experience and the booking tool that you had synced up at that time, I was just like, all right, cool. So good, off to a good start. And then had a great experience. Just the little touches from like, we talk a lot on the show about creating really delightful customer experiences. Everything from like, they're like, what kind of music would you like? And I was like, you ask me about the music? They're like, yeah, you get to pick it. And then it was, what kind of scent would you like? And I was like, oh, I get to pick the scent? They're like, yeah. And it was just like little touches that some of the bigger franchises, they weren't personalizing at that level and at that price point, right? Like yours was a reasonable price point, but like a top tier experience. And always has been. So I just wanted to give you that introduction of like how I ended up at one of your locations.
Oh, well, thank you.
All right. So what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced in the first few years of starting your own business?
Well, I opened up December 1st, 2007. 2008 was the recession.
Yikes.
And to start a new business and to get through that, I'm not quite sure. Like Kim K says, it takes a lot of hard work. You get up early and you go to bed late. And you just don't stop.
Yeah.
You find solutions and you find ways to make it work.
So was it a cash flow, profits and revenues thing that was just like people aren't splurging on massages because money's tight? And so what do you think you might contribute to some of your, ability to navigate through one of the worst recessions to start a business in?
Definitely cash flow, which is, your profit and loss. I think fear. People stopped spending money in 2008 because they were scared.
Yeah.
They didn't know what was going on with the economy. They wanted to just hold their wallets tight. Yeah. So I had to go to grassroots farms, and we gave away a lot of complimentary massages. Not randomly. We definitely had a strategy, and we wanted to prove to people that this was a form of relaxation and that it could benefit their health. Yeah. So when you think something is an investment versus a cost, I think people look at it differently.
Wow. That's actually a really good mindset to have because everyone's really stressed. Let's de-stress a little bit, right? Like I remember all the headlines about alcohol sales during like the pandemic and the shutdowns. And it was just like people are trying to find ways to de-stress, and all of these alcohol companies are like making a big buck. And you were able to kind of turn a situation where people are like really feeling the weight, and you're like, you can, invest in taking some of that weight off.
Well, if you're not at your best, how are you going to perform?
Yeah.
With your family, with work, just with yourself and happiness in general.
Do you mind telling me about the strategy of who you would target for giving like those free massages to?
Mm-hmm. It was within a 3 to 5 mile radius. Mm-hmm. My first location was in South Tampa. Okay. I partnered with a lot of charities as well. 2008 was tough, not only for businesses, but charities as well. People weren't donating to them. So I created a lot of partnerships with them. I also partnered up with schools and teachers as well as nurses.
That's funny. My wife is a teacher, and I can think of no profession that is probably more stressful than nursing and teaching. So yeah, that strategy makes a lot of sense to me. Wow. Okay. So I think switching gears a little bit, we ran a PandaDoc study on the top challenges and pain points that small to medium-sized businesses face. And I wanted to list them out to you, and then maybe there are one or two that really stand out to you, and you can tell me like how you navigated through them. All right, so the top 6 pain points are business owners feel like they're wearing too many hats, having to take on too many jobs at their business, high stress and fatigue, not having as many resources as a bigger corporation, trying to keep up with business and sales, identifying the right software or technology to support their business, and finding the right talent to hire.
I think that's shifted over the years.
Okay, tell me about that.
Number 1 was definitely when I first opened. Would you mind reading that back?
Wearing too many hats, having to take on multiple jobs.
So I had my business plan set up, and I had a marketing agency. I had an IT. I had all the roles that I thought would need to be filled. I didn't have them in-house because it was too expensive. But after 2008, I had to learn how to be the IT person, how to navigate the online world. And YouTube is unbelievable. You can learn almost anything. Or at least you can educate yourself enough to find the resources or to ask the right questions.
That's awesome. That's actually echoes what some of our guests have said in the past as well. So that's good to hear. Any of the other ones, high stress, fatigue, not having as many resources, trying to keep up with business and sales, finding the right talent to hire. I think you covered that one, but identifying the right software and technologies to support. Any of those stand out to you as well?
The last one, finding talent, that is definitely a challenge all the time. We go very in-depth with our training, and some people like that, some people don't. But I rather find out now.
Yeah.
Resources, I'm just going to go back to talent. Finding the right person for the right position. You can be a great person, but we tell our team, if it's not a good fit, then life is too short. Go out and be happy and find something that you really enjoy doing.
Yeah. That actually, that leads me into another question I wanted to ask you, which is like, how do you train your managers and your employees? Like, do you have tricks for creating such good customer service?
Well, our training is very extensive. It's almost a week. So besides the onboarding, we have individual training for just our culture in our employee handbook. We usually train with more than one person because we want them to have a partner. So it's not like, oh, I'm the newbie, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And when they do start, they always have a buddy. So it's a buddy system. Some people hire employees and they don't even tell them where the bathroom is. That might sound hard to believe, but you would not believe the stories.
Wow.
And then we do our manuals, and we do it online as well. And then we do hands-on training, and that is several days. Finally, we'll come to the practicals and the final evaluations. And usually people are nervous. Sometimes they don't do everything, but we tell them up front, you don't have to get everything right. What we do is a lot. So then we do follow up with training 2 weeks later. So during the evaluation, we'll ask them first, well, how do you think that felt? We really like participation. We want people to ask questions. We want to give them stories. Telling stories, I think, is a great way for people to remember. And so telling stories and just being a person in front of the new team member.
Yeah. I remember a situation where I got a massage at Massage Studio, and it wasn't great. I think the therapist was just nervous or new or was having an off day, whatever it may be. But I was pretty unhappy with the service that I got. And I went out to the front desk, and the receptionist out there was just like, "Hey, how was everything?" And I was like, "You know what? Actually, it wasn't very good, and I'm not too happy about it." And she was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that. On behalf of Massage Studio, I want to apologize. I would like to reimburse you for today. Consider it on the house, and as well, I'd like to give you a 50% discount on your next booking, and I can book it right now for you." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Well, I guess it wasn't such a bad. And like for me to speak up, like I'm not confrontational. I don't want to ever. I've worked in the hospitality industry, and so I was just like really taken aback, and I was hooked. I was like, I'm a customer for life now. Like that moment really secured that for me, and so I just was wondering, like, is there anything that goes into the training specifically of like how to handle upset customers or like delivering over-the-top customer experiences like that?
We do tell a lot of stories.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry you had that bad experience, but I'm also very happy that you gave us the chance to make it right.
Yeah.
And that is what we tell everybody is it's okay if we don't do something right. We're human.
Yeah.
But give us the opportunity to make it right. And if we're not, then, we're very sorry about that. Something common is people will call up and they might not be on their best behavior when they talk to the front desk.
Well, yeah, when they call through the phone, right?
And we always say those are the people we want in Massage Studio because they are stressed out or they're not feeling good.
Yeah.
And what happened if somebody died in their family or they got fired or something tragic happened? That's why they're coming into Massage Studio. So when you tell stories and have the team understand what's going on, then I think they can apply the principles to a situation. As for anybody in the studio, massage therapist, front desk, or manager, Every single person has the ability to comp with no questions asked. So training does begin at the front desk. If someone says, oh, it was fine, they are supposed to dig a little bit deeper without pressure.
Yeah.
Because we don't want pressure and say, oh, well, it wasn't just right. Then they go into, we actually give different scenarios of how to handle that. And that goes on in our hands-on training.
I mean, it's really apparent the minute you walk into one of your locations.
I do have to tell you one story.
Yeah, please do.
There was, he still comes in, this gentleman that comes in, he's a member and coming in for years. Well, he came in with this attitude, and he came in 4 days in a row, and his personality had completely changed. He came off very rude, and I say came off, that was perception to not only the front desk, we call them guest coordinators, and the massage therapist. So after hearing this, we actually talked to the guest. Apparently, he quit smoking cold turkey. He almost knew why the manager was calling. She was calling to say, hey, is everything okay? Are you happy with your massage therapist? Because you just seem different.
Yeah.
And he goes, wow. He goes, I am. I quit cold turkey smoking because of health reasons, and massage is a way to help me through that process. And those are the little things that will make a difference.
That's incredible. I don't know. I'm sure he's like, you're like the only person who noticed and like, took the time to check in on me. He's like, I'm a customer for life now. All right, so switching gears a little bit, and I also wanted to comment, like, I have also never felt pressured to sign up for anything, which I really appreciated, and it was just like they've like, I think I've had, I would say like maybe every other time I go, they're like, just a reminder, if you do want to sign up, totally cool if you don't want to. But we see you've come in pretty frequently. You know, it's there if you'd like it. And it was such a different experience. It was so not pushy that I was like, no thanks, but I actually will really consider it. So let me think about it. So that's also a good part of your training that I would commend you and your team on.
Well, that is intentional. Who wants to leave relaxed? And we call it massage brain, because sometimes people come out and they're just glowing. They look like they're sleeping. Do they want a sales pitch?
No.
No. Common sense is not common.
Yeah, we call it pitch slap.
Okay.
Yeah, right? Like you get pitch slapped. And you're like, dang.
Exactly.
That's so funny that you mentioned that, because I call it my massage high. I come out and I'm like, it's like I'm stoned. Yeah, it was really good and everything's fine.
Are you using that CBD oil?
I haven't yet. I've been curious to use it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I've been like on the fence. I've heard for folks that like take CBD, there's like mixed reviews, but folks that get like a topical, they're like, oh my gosh, it's like completely game changer. So I might have to try it.
It's definitely by each person. And that's why each massage is personalized.
Yeah. I also did hot stone for the first time and was like, what have I been doing? This is amazing. Like, it is the best add-on. So, yeah.
Oh, good to hear.
Okay, so another question that I wanted to get into, when it comes to like running the back of house of your business, what tools, software, anything like that has been most helpful for your business?
Our software system, MindBody, which I found before we opened, so that was a blessing. I had gone to several conferences. I had researched all the best software, and this software is used worldwide. And just through all the research and trial and error, it does everything, the sales analysis. So, for example, anybody can comp a massage if somebody's unhappy. If there's construction and a massage therapist thinks that it was too noisy, the therapist can go up front and say, their experience wasn't right.
Yeah.
But we have such a liberal comp policy because the software system, we can tell if somebody is abusing it. So what if we give away one massage and the person wasn't truthful about the experience they wanted it? We can track it.
Yeah.
So MindBody does everything from appointments, marketing, reports. It has just a plethora of options that you can use.
Cool. Well, you heard it here, audience. Go check out MindBody if you are in the hospitality industry. Sounds like an awesome tool, and I'm pretty sure I've used that to book multiple times, and it's like super easy. I get
You have?
reminders on my phone, email, all that stuff. So, okay. When did you start? I think you answered this one earlier, but it's like, when did you start investing in your digital marketing and web presence? It sounded like you kind of started doing it right away. Even before you started the business.
During construction. As soon as I signed that first lease, it was online, getting the online presence set up.
Yeah.
Everything. It's so important.
What was one thing that you learned during, like, you said that you had learned a lot of how to be your own digital ad or IT person. Was there anything that stuck out to you that you're like, that was something that I definitely learned?
I learned something every single day.
Yeah.
My managers and I will look at each other like, wow, that's something we haven't experienced. When I opened up St. Petersburg location in 2016, it's in between 4th Street and 5th Avenue. And they tore down, it was an old pawn shop and other things, and people were so grateful. So I was asked, what do you want the address to be? I said, well, more people know 4th Street and not 5th Avenue. So that's why it's 451 4th Street. So that was not recognized by the Postal Service. So it did not come up on Google. Even though we were listed on Google, it did not come up on maps. It gave wrong directions. I had to file an investigation with the post office. It took 6 weeks. And I can't tell you how long I worked on that. And there wasn't an address. So, okay, I'm on 4th Street. And the city gave me that.
Dang. So you got it resolved, because by the time I booked it, everything was right.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's definitely trial and error, though, and learning, like, things how could you predict that, right? Like, you wouldn't know.
But things happen. The important thing is to find it and fix it and try not to have it happen again.
Yeah, very true. So you've since opening up you have a South Tampa location for Massage Studio, you have a St. Pete location. Do you have any advice for entrepreneurs that are looking to expand? So, for example, one of my best friends just opened a barbershop. He's doing extremely well, and he already has people kind of approaching him about maybe opening up second locations, setting up a small shop inside of another shop kind of thing. And so I always think of him, and he's going to be excited to listen to this episode. So any advice that you might have on the multi-location aspect?
Learn, ask questions, and listen. I'm a lifelong learner. I'm always reading books, going to conferences, conventions. When I first opened, the Small Business Development Center offers all these courses at a nominal cost. If you want to learn about accounting, marketing, legal, how to write a business plan, I've taken those classes several times. Location, location, location. And do not be pressured into doing something unless you feel that it's right.
Yeah.
I trust my gut a lot of times. And people are out there, they want to lease their property. Or real estate agents want to make a commission. And they earn one. But don't be pressured into doing something until you feel it's right. I looked for my location in St. Pete for 1.5 years.
Wow.
And it finally came up. I guess I just put it into the universe because I saw this old rundown building that was
so
vacant.
Bad. It was so bad.
So you know it.
Yes.
And I was like, what are they doing with that building?
That's what I asked, driving by it every day.
And I must have put it out into the universe because it was a friend. And she's like, I think you would like this property. I'm like, I know exactly where it is. But I had so many people calling me and saying they had the perfect location.
Everybody says that, right? I think that's really solid advice. I remember my brother gave me that one time in regards, and this podcast and a lot of people that are listening are salespeople. But he was like, you have to remember that, like, you've got to look out for you. Like, everybody else has usually an ulterior motive. And it's not that they're bad people, but they have a commission. They have something they're trying to secure. And you just have to keep that in the back of your mind that not everybody is as kind as you. And so, like you said, really trusting your instinct and your gut, especially when opening up that location and being like, I think you also got in at a really good time, like 2016. I mean, we're in 2022, and I remember renting an apartment a couple blocks up from a massage studio, and it was a studio apartment, 300 square feet, and it was only $675 a month.
Wow.
And now it's probably like...
And you moved from there?
I know, right? and I was wondering if there was anything that went into your search. Like, did you want to be on a heavily like foot traffic area, street traffic? Was there anything that went into that decision of that location?
Absolutely. Convenience.
Okay.
People are going to get a massage. They don't want to drive far. Mm-hmm. And so it needed to be within a 5-mile radius of my target. Parking. Who wants to... They're running late to get their massage. They're completely stressed, and then there's no parking. And they drive around for 10 minutes. And some people will just say, well, forget this, or their massage time is cut. So there's a lot of different things, but you really need to cater to your audience, your guest, your customer.
Yeah, it's thinking about, you just highlighted something that's so important. It's thinking about that customer journey, that customer mm-hmm. experience from before they even get in their car, and all the way to like those little details. Like, your parking lot is super easy. There are labeled spaces. No one's allowed to park there unless they're a guest. There are plenty of spaces. I've never had a problem, So, yeah, keeping in mind of like, we're hospitality, de-stressing. Let's remove any obstacles or barriers or challenges in that.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because when I was thinking about massage studio, I wanted to take my hospitality background and the wellness business. So that's exactly what it says in my business plan. Hospitality meets wellness. It doesn't cost anything to be nice.
That's awesome. I think the only other question I had was securing small business loans. Mm-hmm. Any advice on how to search for those, or tips that you've just kind of learned along the way?
Don't stop.
Mm-hmm.
If someone says no, keep going. Make sure that you have everything put together. And if you don't, go ahead and find it, but just don't stop. There is money out there. There's a ton of resources online. The SBA is such an unbelievable resource. And put your intentions out, because you never know who's going to say, oh, have you talked to my banker at XYZ? Because their focus right now is on small businesses. So you don't know what banks are doing what. So just don't give up when somebody tells you no.
I like that. I also am wondering, too, I've been watching some of these shows. One of them is like Inventing Anna on Netflix. And she is like the opposite of what a business, entrepreneur should be. But there are some parts of her that are like, she doesn't give up. Mm-hmm. She doesn't give up on her dream. And so she's the anti-hero of that show. If you guys haven't watched that show, go check it out.
Now she's reinventing Anna with the show.
It's wild.
It is wild.
There's already money in the wire. Check with Peter. All right, let's move into our final segment. I want to play a game of Are You In or Are You Out? I'm going to say 4 statements, and then you're going to write on a whiteboard if you're in or you're out. Are you ready to play?
I'm ready.
All right. Okay, the first one. The most important consideration for brick-and-mortar businesses are the location and the rent. The most important considerations for brick-and-mortar businesses are the location and rent. Number 2, doing business with family and friends is a really great way to get started. Doing business with family and friends is a really great way to get started. Number 3, invest time and money into your actual store before you worry about any of the online or digital parts of your business. Number 3, invest time and money into your actual store before you worry about the online digital part of your business. And number 4, very controversial, facials are better than massages. Okay, let's have you show the camera the whiteboard. Number 1, most important consideration for brick and mortar businesses, location, rent. You wrote in. Elaborate a little bit if you wouldn't mind.
If people don't know where you are and they don't want to travel to where you are, you're not going to have the business.
Did you do research on like, especially for massages, did you do any research on like zip code, like incomes or anything like that to understand like where some of your ideal customers might be located?
Yes,
Okay.
all of that. Behavioral traits. You can get a lot of online sources. A lot of them you can get for free as well, and really target in on neighborhoods.
That's so cool. All right, number 2, doing business with family and friends is a really great way to get started. You wrote out and with 3 exclamation points. I purposely put this one in here. We always hear that advice, doing business with family is bad, but do you mind just maybe giving us your opinion on it?
When I opened up a massage studio the first time, actually before I opened, I had several people that I had worked with or else friends saying that they wanted to invest. And I said, absolutely not. Because someone might say they're a silent investor, and then you paint the room, and they're like, I don't like that blue. And I also didn't have something that was proven. It was my first location, and if I'm going to lose my own money.
Yeah.
I could never live with myself if someone invested in me and, lost their money. In terms of family is family. And unless you're doing something that you have no other way to do it,
Yeah.
I say no. You need to separate it.
Solid advice. I agree. Keep those friendships, right?
And you don't want Thanksgiving dinner somebody to be doing little digs under the table. Well, I don't know. Did you see that there were record sales last week?
Deep breath.
Right? Just eat your turkey.
Yeah, right? And for the record, I painted my wall blue and my wife didn't like it, but she's not a very silent investor. I have to live with that decision. Love you, honey. Number 3, invest time and money into your actual store before you worry about the online digital part of your business. You wrote out.
Absolutely. You need both.
You need to do both.
Absolutely. No doubt.
Yeah, it might feel impossible, but you kind of have to do them simultaneously.
And the strategy before you open is different for when you open. And you just need to realize that. You need to plan ahead.
That's an interesting statement. The strategy before you open is different than after you open. How so?
You're trying to build up your online presence, and all the little Google spiders out there, they need something to grab onto. So if you don't have enough time before you're open, they can't go ahead and find you. So when you do searches, organic searches are the top way people find us.
Yep.
And it is time and relevance of the content that you have online. And then when you open, you are actually targeting people to come into your business.
I love that answer, and I'm over here like, one day when I start my business, I'm going to be writing all these things down. That's so true, because you're just like thinking about launch day, grand opening, soft opening, and if you don't have anything to let Google crawl, nobody's going to find you after that soft launch. Like, good luck. Word of mouth, maybe, but you really got to think about the other parts of it. So.
Set yourself up for success.
And then the final one, facials are better than massages. You wrote out. I'm not surprised. It's called Massage Studio, not Facial Studio. So,
and well, of course, massages.
Yeah.
Facials are really nice,
They are.
but massages good for the body, mind, and spirit.
Beautifully said. Well, Veronica, thank you so much for coming on to our podcast. This has been a pleasure. I'm so excited that I got to meet you and learn from you, and can't wait to go get my next massage. For those of you that are local to the Tampa Bay area, go check out Massage Studio in South Tampa and St. Pete. And where can folks maybe find and connect with you online if they want to?
Our website is massagestudiospa.com, and all of our social media sites are the same.
Right on. All right, folks, tune in next week. We'll have another great episode for you to listen to. Until then, take care.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Customer Engagement Lab, brought to you by PandaDoc. If you liked what you heard, please subscribe to our YouTube channel or connect with us on LinkedIn. We love to hear from you and what you think of the show.